Now, the next thing I'd like to go over are a couple of JavaScript structures that are really important and used in most scripts that you're going to see. By going through them this way, we'll be able to see what's happening inside the scripts when you see these structures. And the first one is a conditional structure. And we can see what one looks like if we open up our next file. So let me just close up the last document we were working on. And back in our working files folder, this time I'll open number 2, try conditionals. We'll open it up in the browser, and I'll go ahead and open it up inside my text application as well. Over in the browser, we can see that there's not too much there. There's a title and there's a little sentence. So let's go take a look at the code that's making this up. There's our title, Conditional Statements. And we've just got a simple statement in here that says the bag of groceries is 6 pounds. Now, I mentioned that conditionals are used to kind of make decisions in the program. So I've just kind of set up a fake decision-making process inside of our little document here so we can try it out. We're going to decide if the bag is too heavy or too light. And I've already got some script tags set up so we can start writing our JavaScript here. A typical conditional statement starts out with the if keyword. So I'll go ahead and type if, and then we have some parentheses. Inside those parentheses, we'll be putting some kind of a conditional statement that will be our test. Then following that, I'm going to start with an open brace, and I'll go down a couple of lines and use a close brace. And as you can see with this JavaScript structure, we're going to have several different parts to it. So let's work through each one. First of all, let's talk about the test or the condition itself. That goes inside the parentheses. And basically what we want to do is we want to test something. Now, usually that's testing a value of something on the page, either something in the HTML text or a form element or a variable inside JavaScript. For our example, I'd like to go ahead and grab the number 6 from the text on the page. And as we just saw, we can extract that as long as that area of the page has an element ID. So let's add a span tag right in front of the 6. I'll give it an ID, and I'll just call it weight. Now, when I close the span tag on the other side of the 6, that sets up the inner HTML of the span element to be retrieved by our JavaScript function call. So let's do that next. I'll go right underneath the script tag and above the if statement, and we'll create a variable called bag weight. And I'll use an equal sign, and then call our document getElementById function. And we'll specify the weight ID. And of course, we want the inner HTML of that element. Now that we've got that stored into a variable, we can start to write a condition. For the purposes of our example, I'm going to say that anything over 5 pounds is going to be a heavy bag, and anything under 5 is going to be light. So to start out a condition where we're testing to see if our bag is overweight, I can start out with that variable that we just defined, bag weight, and then I could use greater than or less than signs to test its value. I'll use the greater than, and we'll use my number 5 as the balancing point, and that will be my test. You can see it reads pretty easy. If bag weight is greater than 5. Now, if that's true, this statement will execute whatever we put inside of the braces. If it's false, it'll simply skip the braces and go on with the rest of the script. Of course, we want to see whether or not our script is working, so let's put a statement inside the braces that will pop up an alert. I'll just call my normal alert function, and we'll put a message in here that says the bag is too heavy. Close that off with a semicolon, and now we've got something that's going to show the result of our test. Let's save our changes so far, and go back out to the browser and try it out. I'll just refresh the page, and there we can see our alert statement coming up because 6 is indeed greater than 5, and that means the bag is too heavy. Now, if we were to just go back to our document and change the text on the page so that that was a number less than 5, like for instance 3, I'll save my changes. We'll go back out to the document, I'll refresh the page again, and no alert message this time. And that's because 3 is less than 5, this conditional statement is false, and the if structure will skip the alert statement this time. Now, we can have a conditional statement work on both sides of the evaluation by using the else keyword, so let's give that a try. I can drop right down to the end of this existing if structure and just add the word else. We'll set up another set of braces, and we can put some JavaScript code inside there as well. Let me copy our alert statement and paste it in that structure, and we'll just change it to too light. And let's take a look at how this is going to read. The first part of the statement is going to work the same way. If the bag weight variable value is greater than 5, we'll see the alert the bag is too heavy. The else statement says if it's not greater than 5, we have another set of JavaScript we can execute. And in this case, we're going to say that the bag is too light. So let's save that change. We'll go back out, and we still have a value of 3. I'll refresh the page, and you can see this time the else side of our statement is being executed, and we see that the bag is too light. Now, there are more ways that we can extend and write these, and I'm just going to try one more. In this case, I want to know if the bag exactly equals 5. Then it's not going to be too heavy or too light, it's going to be just right. Now, to do that, we need to change the structure of our conditional statement a little bit. First of all, I'm not going to use just an else. I'm going to have a condition that goes along with this. So I'm going to do an else if. This allows me to add another condition right in the middle of the statement. So I'll add some parentheses. And in the middle of those parentheses, we'll have another condition. And for this case, we'll want to know if the bag weight is less than 5. So I'll just use a less than sign and put our number 5 in. And we can leave our alert statement the way it is. Now we can add another else statement at the bottom, or another else if. In this case, I'm going to write else if, and I want to know if the bag is exactly equal to 5. And the reason I wanted to write this one is that it might look a little bit weird to you, because I'll write it like this. Bag weight, and we're saying if it equals 5. Well, normally you would use an equal sign for that. But remember, in JavaScript, equals assigns things. So we would actually change the value of bag weight. We're going to use a different operator that signifies equivalence in the program, and that is equals equals. This is how we test for equivalence and make sure we don't assign a variable. So I'll add 5, and we'll go back and read our new condition statement. This one says, else if bag weight is equivalent to 5. Now with another condition, we get another set of braces. So I'll add those in. And this time, I'm going to add in another alert message, and we'll say the bag is just right. Now I'm going to change my value so it's exactly equal to 5. We'll save our changes, and we'll go out and test our document again. This time, my alert statement comes up, and it says the bag is just right. You can see that it first tested to see if it was too heavy, and that was false, so it skipped that statement. Then it tested to see if the bag was too light, and that was also false, so it skipped the next alert statement as well. Finally, it tests to see if the bag is equivalent to 5, and it is, so we see the last alert statement. Now you can see there might be a lot of different variations in the way that you see an if statement or a condition being used. But there's some general rules that you can follow, and if you're trying to just understand a conditional statement or debug it, there are some things to watch out for too. Notice we've got a lot of parentheses and braces here, but they're very structured. Each set of parentheses is a condition that should be following a keyword like if or else if. And each condition also has its own set of braces. So just make sure you begin and end each one of those sets correctly. And then inside the conditional statements, just make sure that you're using the correct operator for the test you're trying to perform. There are a lot of different operators available besides the 3 I've shown here, but you can look at any JavaScript reference and they'll give you a list of them all.